People start businesses with an idea, but it is also from an idea that they lose time, money, and even their ideals. The harsh truth is, most startups don't die from lack of funding, but from chasing a wrong idea from the start. Not wrong because it's bad, but because it's not worth going all in for. You're holding something in your hand. Is it a real opportunity, or just a lie dressed up in hope? This video is not for dreamers. It's for those who want to stare straight at the line between illusion and an idea that can change the game. And to know where you stand, we must start from the most dangerous place, where ideas are born. Part 1. Core thinking about startup ideas. An idea is not a magical light that suddenly appears in the dark. It's the crystallization of deep observation, the intersection between experience and a desire to solve real problems. Entrepreneurship doesn't begin with a glamorous dream, but with alertness. An idea only becomes valuable when it's closely tied to real needs, can solve a specific problem, and sparks the belief that the world should be different. That is the core spirit of a builder. No one, not even the greatest investor, can look at an idea and declare it a guaranteed success. That doesn't exist. But one thing is certain, if you start with a strong idea that's grounded in reality, you're already holding better cards in the game of survival. The right mindset is not about seeking the perfect idea, but learning how to find a good enough starting point, deep, flexible, and capable of evolving with time and the market. That is the wisdom of a smart founder. Don't start a business as a dreamer chasing illusions. Be the one who looks problems in the eye, accepts uncertainty, but actively manages it. Smart thinking means knowing that startups are a series of experiments, and even a small idea is the seed of a forest. Therefore, focus on sharpening your ability to see and evaluate ideas deeply. Having many ideas doesn't make you creative. The one who creates value is the one who dares to choose and dares to start. Part 2. 4 deadly mistakes in finding ideas. The most common and damaging mistake is starting with a solution instead of a problem. Entrepreneurs often get too excited about a technology like AI or blockchain and then rush to find a problem to attach it to. But that's backward. If users aren't truly in pain because of the problem, they won't care about your solution. A startup born where no one needs it is a startup doomed to fail. You must find real pain, not a reason to use technology. The second mistake is falling into the quicksand idea trap. Ideas that sound familiar and easy to imagine, but are filled with structural barriers that caused hundreds before you to fail. Take an app to help friends gather. Everyone sees the problem, but no one has overcome the gravitational pull of social behavior, competition, habits, and user indifference. If you see an idea that's overly common but still hasn't succeeded, don't jump in right away. Investigate why. Third, many people settle for the first idea that seems reasonable and never pause to test it. They enter entrepreneurship like rolling dice. On the flip side, others fall into the perfectionism trap, waiting for the perfect idea and miss their chance. The truth is, no idea is perfect. Every idea needs time to grow. Smart founders are those who can assess risks, willing to start from imperfection and improve through each iteration. Finally, many don't stop to ask, can this idea actually become a business? They're drawn to the product and forget that a startup is about market, distribution channels, cash flow, and scalability. Ideas that can't scale appeal to only a small group or require human resources that can't be replicated are deadly traps. Success in startups doesn't come from building an interesting product, but from building a real business. Part 3. 10 criteria for evaluating an idea. A good idea is not one that you find exciting, but one that you and your team are best suited to execute. This is the most important starting point. Alignment between the founding team and the market. If you've worked in the industry, have deep insights, a strong network, and the drive to solve that problem, you already have founder market fit. Don't chase hot fields you don't understand. Don't run after someone else's market. Find the market meant for you. A good idea must target a large market. Large is not just about the current size, but its growth potential. There are 2 attractive types of markets. One is already large, and the other is small but growing rapidly, driven by technology, behavior, or legal changes. If you're serving a small market, you must have clear evidence it's expanding. Otherwise, you're building a startup in a dead end. The market should be an ocean, not a fish tank. The more urgent the problem, the bigger the startup opportunity. What do users do if you're not around? If they're struggling with Excel, Google Docs, manual processes, or have no solution at all, you're seeing golden opportunities. Problems whose only current solution is just endure it are fertile ground for innovation. Look for areas where change is necessary, not just nice to have. That's where startups thrive. Competition is not the enemy. In fact, competition signals that the market has real demand. A market with no players often isn't worth entering. The key question isn't, are there competitors, but what are they missing? If you identify something they haven't done well, an insight, a behavior, or new tech, you have a chance to differentiate. In a world full of choices, only superiority retains users. Do you truly want this product? Do you know others who want it too? Sounds simple, but this is a powerful filter. If you wouldn't use the product every day, how can you understand users? And if no one around you needs it either, chances are you're solving a fictional problem. Great products usually come from real pain, and founders often feel that pain first. That's market alignment in your bloodstream. A strong signal for a great startup opportunity is a recent real-world change. New technologies, legal policies, pandemics, shifting social behaviors all open new doors. If something just happened that made a problem more urgent or enabled a solution that wasn't possible before, that's the time to act. Successful startups don't usually create new needs. They react swiftly to changes already occurring. A strong startup idea often has success proxies. Someone has succeeded with a similar idea in a different context. If a model worked in another market, country, or sector, chances are you're looking at an untapped local version. But proxies aren't for copying. They're proof that the problem has real economic value, and you can restructure it to fit your chosen market better. Are you ready to work on this for years? This is a deep question, not one to answer on a whim. Startup ideas need time to mature, and you need a long-term relationship with it. If you can't see yourself sticking with the product, market, or users over the next 3 to 5 years, you'll likely give up halfway. Many hot ideas burn out fast. Choose what keeps you persistent, not just what excites you now. Scalability is vital. A good idea that serves only 100 people is a good product, not a business. A successful startup is a model that can serve millions without proportional cost increases. Software is the best land for scale. You build once, sell millions of times. In contrast, models requiring lots of personnel, consulting, or deep services, even if profitable, are hard to scale. Scale is the backbone of tech startup models. What idea space does your concept belong to? An idea space is a set of ideas around an industry, behavior, or major need. Some idea spaces have much higher hit rates, like fintech infrastructure, vertical SaaS, or enterprise APIs. Others, like consumer hardware, new social networks, or ad tech, are much harder to win big in. If you start in a good space, even if your first idea is off, you'll have the chance to pivot effectively. Many ideas only become great when refined in the right context. Remember, no idea is perfect from the start. But if it checks many of the 10 criteria above, especially founder market fit, large market, urgent problem, and scalability, you already have a promising starting point. The next step isn't to keep thinking. The next step is to start doing, as soon and as small as possible. Execution is the ultimate validation tool for any idea. Part 4. Discovering the strongest startup ideas. The best way to find a great idea is not to actively search for one. It sounds paradoxical, but it's true. The highest quality ideas often arise while you're doing something else, solving a real problem at work, noticing a gap in the industry, or building a tool for yourself. When you're in the right environment, ideas come as a reflex. Starting from real experiences and real needs is a far more reliable path than any brainstorm board. Becoming an expert in a specific field is a guaranteed way to generate ideas. When you're on the front lines, in a startup, a tech organization, or a still analog industry, you spot gaps outsiders can't see. That insider vision is a goldmine for ideas. Put yourself in environments that force you to solve real problems. Because if you spend enough time facing something frustrating, you're likely to build a solution the market truly needs. If you're a builder, just keep building. Many startups didn't begin with a business model. They started as fun projects built by the founder. But when that product solved a problem no one else could, it gradually became a company. Allow yourself to experiment with small things without revenue pressure, as long as they have value. Sometimes a personal hobby is the radar that finds a strong startup. As long as you observe closely, build because you believe it should exist. Part 5. 7 recommended formulas for generating startup ideas. Formula 1. Start from your team's strengths. This is the fastest and most reliable route. When you understand the industry, have operational experience, and have personally felt the pain of the problem, you'll see opportunities outsiders can't reach. You have relationships, understand customers, and possess the right instincts. That's your competitive edge from day one. Start from where you're strongest, because that's where you can move fastest. Don't try to be different in areas you don't understand. Leverage your existing depth to create something only insiders can build. Formula 2. Begin with a problem you faced. Were you ever a frustrated customer dealing with a manual process? Have you wasted time due to outdated tools? That's a golden clue. People who spot startups are often those who've been hurt by the old system. If you've worked in an industry and noticed an unsolved pain point, it might be an opportunity thousands are waiting for. A problem that seemed irrational during 2 years of work might be the foundation of a unicorn. Formula 3. The product you wish existed. If you've ever said, "I wish there was an app that helped me do X faster," don't ignore that instinct. Startups born from personal desires are how many great companies began. But beware of this type of idea. It's easy to fall into the trap of sweet but useless to the market. When you want something, validate it immediately. How many others need it like you do? If there's no real evidence, don't rush to build. Formula 4, based on recent changes in the world. The world is constantly changing, and that's fertile ground for startups. The pandemic, remote work trends, next-gen AI, and policy shifts all create temporary gaps that sharp entrepreneurs can seize. The most successful startups don't create trends. They ride them by being the first to deliver a timely product. Train yourself to be sensitive to changes, and ask, what new problems does this change create? Formula 5. Variations of proven models. You don't need to reinvent the wheel. Many startups succeed by localizing a model that worked elsewhere. Maybe it's bringing a US B2B model to Southeast Asia, or executing a vertical niche no one has tackled. The key is choosing the right elements to change, not copying everything. Study deeply what made the original model work, then tweak it to fit your context. That's how to create an old model with new breakthroughs. Formula 6. Ask other people. It sounds simple but is rarely done well. Pick a field you find intriguing, then talk to 20 people working in that industry. Ask them, what part of your job is most exhausting? What part of the process wastes the most time and money? Through these questions, you'll spot recurring pain points, and that's where to begin. This is a scientific, highly effective approach for those without industry experience. Formula 7. Target large, undigitized industries. You don't need to find ideas from space. Just look at a big industry still running on old systems. Logistics, agriculture, education, administrative services, all are worth billions but operate with outdated processes. Inside, there are hundreds of friction points waiting to be optimized. Smart founders don't look for new things. They find old things to redo better. Don't underestimate boring industries. Often, the dullest places give birth to the strongest startups. Part 6. Types of ideas that sound bad but are actually good. One of the most interesting paradoxes in startups is this: ideas that sound bad, boring, or difficult are often the real opportunities. That's because most founders will avoid them. This leaves a gap for those willing to dig deep where no one else wants to dig. A classic example is startups building payroll software, tax tools, or internal enterprise management systems. Sounds boring, but the market value is enormous, and customers are willing to pay real money. Difficult ideas are often fertile ground left untouched. They may require integration with complex infrastructure, legal expertise, or building partnerships with large organizations. But because of these barriers, if you succeed, you create a natural moat that competitors can't easily cross. Additionally, ideas that already have competitors aren't scary if you have superior insight. A competitive market is a real market. Go where others retreat if you truly understand what you're doing. Part 7. Action-oriented mindset. At the end of the day, an idea is just the starting point. Don't get stuck in meeting rooms, on whiteboards, or inside PowerPoint decks. You won't know if an idea is good until you go out, build it, and test it with real people. Startups aren't for people who are only good at analysis. They're for those who dare to start, dare to adjust, and dare to keep going. If you're hesitating, here's the final advice. Stop thinking, start doing. In startups, execution is the ultimate truth. As for the idea, it's just the bullet. You are the one who pulls the trigger. So what do you think? Is the startup idea more important, or is execution what really determines everything? Some ideas sound ridiculous at first, but later become the standard. Others are hyped as revolutionary, then quietly vanish. So what truly signals an idea worth pursuing? Is initial craziness a prerequisite, or is clarity the true guarantee of potential? There's no right answer. Only action can verify. But what troubles most founders isn't whether the idea is right or wrong. It's this. Am I looking at it with enough honesty and enough courage? Thank you for watching the whole video. Please like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next videos.